You're listening to the Intuitive Souls podcast. I am your host, Sarah Caruso, and this podcast is designed to educate, inspire, and enlighten. Let's wake up together. Hey guys, welcome to the Intuitive Souls podcast. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. I am super excited that the universe led you here. If you are an OG and you keep on coming back and you keep on, making these amazing reviews of the podcast on iTunes and sharing all your experiences with me on Insta stories, you know I love each and every one of you, and you guys make this so freaking easy for me to do this because you just inspire me to create more content, bring people on this show that can help you, and to just, I love you guys. I love you guys so much. So before we dive into this episode, because this episode is a good one, guys, especially if you are building or growing your intuition or psychic development, because there are so many things that get in the way and we tend to self-sabotage. So in this week's episode, I'm going to talk about 6 ways that you are sabotaging your psychic and intuitive development. But before we get to that, I just want to say, if you are enjoying this podcast, if it's bringing you value, teaching you, helping you expand your consciousness, if you can head on over to iTunes and leave a review, I would really, really appreciate it. That helps me get this podcast to the ears that need to listen to it. So again, I appreciate it. I know, life is super busy, but if you have a minute or two, I would be eternally grateful. So let's talk, guys, like real talk right now. If you're listening to this podcast, chances are you already are feeling drawn to connecting to spirit or enhancing your intuition, or you want to raise your conscious or your vibration or expand your consciousness. So that's obviously amazing. But let's be real, guys. We're still muggles. We're still human. We still deal with negative emotions, limiting belief systems, and that is one thing that really makes us question our innate and natural ability to connect to spirit and to our intuition and our higher self. So I'm going to go through 6 of the key ways that we all do it, guys. So don't feel bad if you're sitting here and you think that I'm calling you out, because these are like the big things that block us from developing our intuition. And we all are guilty of them. So don't feel bad. So the first thing that we do that really hinders our psychic and intuitive development is we're not asking for help from our guides, okay? When it comes to psychic development, you really can't do it alone, because our mind and our belief systems that we hold make us question everything. So this means that until you ask for assistance from your spirit guides or angels, you may find some success in your development, but you're still limiting yourself to information within you rather than reaching out to a higher level of consciousness. So with that being said, this was something that really helped me when I started developing my psychic and mediumship abilities. For a long time, what I would do is I would get psychic information and it would be accurate, but then I would be like, that's not, maybe I'm just a good profiler, or maybe this, or maybe that. And it wasn't until I decided to be like, you know what? Let me ask my guides, right? I want some help here, that I really stopped holding on to those belief systems that were hindering my growth. So I have another episode available on this podcast where I talk more in depth about spirit guides and the types of spirit guides that we have. And I also have a guided meditation where you can meet your spirit guide. I unfortunately don't have the exact episode numbers, but they weren't, I would say that they were probably about within 3 months' time from today. So be sure to check that out if that is something that you're interested in. So that's that. Number 2 is not being open to all forms of intuitive or psychic messages. So messages come in many, many forms, both internal and external to us. So most of us are familiar with the internal messages, which is our clair senses. And those are our hearing, the words that we hear, the images that we see in our mind's eye, or sensing a presence or an emotion. That's the internal. But external messages come in many forms, including animal messengers, finding a series of feathers or coins, or seeing a billboard, hearing a song on the radio, opening a book to just the right page that answers a problem you're having, or through dreams, or in waking or falling asleep moments. You know, those moments where you're just waking up and you're still tired and you just want to go to bed, or that time where it's like you're falling asleep and then you have to pee and then you have to get up. Yeah, those moments, because in those relaxed states, we are so highly susceptible to receiving messages. So, don't think that when you ask a guy for help, right? Or when you're getting intuitive or psychic messages, it does not have to just come from internal feelings and knowings and sensings, okay? Spirit will use anything that they can get their energy on in order to relay a message to us. So be sure to just be very fully aware of both your internal and external worlds in order to make sure you're getting the information, okay? So number 3 is not writing down what you receive. Now, this is extremely important, especially if you're just starting off, building your intuition and your psychic growth, because even though you've heard so much about keeping a journal for your experiences, let's be real, like some of us haven't done it, and writing down the information and the insights and the flashes of knowledge you receive is an essential part of the validation process. Tracking validation builds confidence and leads to a much greater understanding of how your abilities work. It's also very important if you receive words or symbols, because you may not recognize their meanings immediately. So when you can go back to your journal and check off the intuitive or psychic hits as validating, you can actually see the progress you're making. And that, for me, because I am an Aquarius and I'm extremely logical and I need a lot of evidence and I need to overanalyze everything, this practice really helped me. So if you're one of those people that you can't just get a feeling or a vision, you need to analyze everything and go step by step in your head. This is such a key component to your development. I cannot stress this enough. When I started doing my photo readings, right, this is exactly what I did, and I would say do the same thing. I joined a bunch of Facebook groups that offer free psychic photo readings. And what I did was I just started reading photos, and I would just type in the comments what I was getting and all of that. And with that, I made a binder. I went to the dollar store, I got a crappy binder, and I got dividers. And in one of the dividers, I wrote photo readings. And what I did was, with every photo reading, I put 2 columns, accurate and not accurate. And every time I got an accurate one, I would write a little thing, a little dash. And with every not accurate one, I would write a dash. And before I knew it, I was looking at a column with accurate all the way down the page with the not accurate, like, I think it was like maybe 4 or 5. And I think, a lot of that is due to psychic burnout, but that's a story for a different day. So please, and especially if you're someone who is clairvoyant, like you see a lot in your mind's eye and a lot of the things you're seeing doesn't make sense, you really want to write that down, because we don't realize the spirit and the symbolism until we really start making our own symbol dictionary. Because hypothetically, right, when we're developing our psychic senses, say, I don't know. So for me, something that came up a lot when I was developing, and it still comes up a lot, is I would literally see a brick wall in my mind's eye, like a massive brick wall in my mind's eye. And I didn't know what it meant for the longest time. And it would keep on coming up a lot in my readings. And it wasn't until I actually went and started writing it down, like, what does a brick wall mean for me? I realized that when I see a brick wall, that means that this person is extremely stubborn and set in their ways. Okay. Another person may see, I knew a psychic that saw those diabetic sneakers or shoes, and that would mean that the person was a diabetic. So when we make our own encyclopedia of what spirit gives us, it's so much easier to master the spirit messages that come through. So you definitely want to do that. Now, number 4 is not practicing correctly. Learning to meditate is a great skill and certainly worth the effort, but it is not a psychic development exercise. Valuable exercises allow you to practice by using specific processes or methods. It's not like reading an assembly manual. There are specific steps to the intuitive process that make it automatic. So, with that being said, I will never, ever, ever bash meditation, because meditation has been the gateway for me with realizing my intuitive abilities and connecting to spirit. But it is true. And it will help you decipher ego from love. And it really is a powerful, powerful practice to have in your everyday life. But what is going to really strengthen your intuition and your psychic development is exercises. And what I mean by that is just doing really practical exercises that strengthen your clairvoyance, strengthen your clairsensing or clairsentience, and all of that. So with that being said, if you're not following me on TikTok, why aren't you? Go on TikTok and watch all my videos, because there is so much information on that platform as far as development exercises. So go ahead and do that. And there's also a lot of great books that have great exercises and all of that. And it is also important to make sure that you are grounding and protecting every single day. For me, what I do as far as my grounding and protection ritual is concerned, when I wake up in the morning, I don't leave my bed until I do a quick grounding and protection meditation, which takes all of 5 minutes. And that sets me off for a really great day. You can do whatever it is you'd like, but it is important to incorporate grounding and protection, especially when you're doing this work. So, number 5 is not practicing every day. Okay, practicing your abilities throughout your day, every day, is how we are able to learn and trust it. The key word here is trust. All right. Next time when you are getting ready for work or going out of the house, think about what you will see that day. Okay, who you will meet, how traffic will be, or what a coworker or friend will be wearing. Playing these kinds of mind games with yourself is just one of the many ways to integrate practice into your life and really help you just strengthen your intuition. You don't have to be sitting on a computer for 5 hours doing photo readings in order to develop your intuition. Okay? There are so many simple ways that you can incorporate easy, fun exercises into your day that allow you to strengthen your intuition. So a couple of the exercises that I do every day is, one, I will do a dance party with myself in my kitchen, and I will put on one of my favorite playlists on iTunes on shuffle. And at the end of every song, what I will do is I will try to guess the next song. Is it a female? Is it going to be a female singing? Is it going to be a pop song, a country song? Is it going to be a sad song? It doesn't matter if you get it right or wrong. You're strengthening that claircognizance muscle when you're doing that. Another thing that you can do if you live in a not so urban area is when you're driving on a road that doesn't have a lot of cars, you can think of what color the next car is going to be that's going to pass you. That's another simple exercise. There are also a bunch of free apps in the App Store, like Zener cards or whatever that, are great just to have when you're in a waiting room or whatever the case may be. So definitely just all you have to do is go to your App Store and type in Zener, like Zener, and there's a bunch of apps for that. But think of things that you can do during the day that will allow you to strengthen your intuition. Like I said, think of what someone is going to be wearing, what color tie a person's going to be wearing, what animals are going to come into your life that day. Guys, it's fun. This is supposed to be fun. We're supposed to be raising our vibration. So do not take this so seriously where you get mad at yourself if you don't get something right, okay? This is much more about raising your vibration than getting it right, okay? So that is number 5. Number 6 is not starting an intuition or psychic circle. Now, finding a group of people that are interested in psychic or intuitive development is really one of the best ways to keep your development on track. For me, this is the Modern Mystic Society. I cannot praise the women in this circle enough. They are so supportive, so sweet, and it really has helped me, as well as them, have the confidence to claim our mediumship and to claim our psychic abilities. And it's one thing that, when we are getting into this new age, supernatural, psychic mediumship kind of life, it can get extremely lonely. And you can feel really alone when you're doing this work. And it's still fun and it's still very empowering, but not having a group of people that have the same beliefs and the same like mind can really hinder your growth. So, try to find a circle. You can go to meetup.com or, check out if there are any new age stores in your area. They might have spiritual circles or development classes, or you can head on over to the Modern Mystic Society on my website, which is ericarusso.co, and check out the membership and what it offers, because I am so proud of this membership, and it really does. For some reason, we have such a great group of women in it who are so intuitive and so kind and so supportive. So be sure to check that out. And it's also good because it's online and you could do it in the comfort of your own home with no bra on and a messy bun, and there's no judgment, because that's how I show up to Circle. So be sure to check that out if that is something that you are interested in. But it really is, I do want to say that having a support system, just like anything, is really crucial. So even if you aren't really feeling pulled to the Modern Mystic Society, I would definitely check out meetup.com, check out your New Age store, because that's really going to help your spiritual growth. So with that being said, be sure to start your journal. Be sure to, bring some exercises into your everyday life and ask your guides for help and find a support system that will allow you to grow and to build the confidence you need in order to really own your intuition. Okay, this is amazing, guys. You know I love you, and I will see you next week.